of Nick Caserio possibly being on the headset, and his answer was a little bit different.
Rich, people do it, a lot of different ways. I've been a head football coach for a long period of time. I haven't had the general manager involved on game day and don't plan on it. But so, again, things were done differently at different places. We have a system that we're pretty comfortable with here, and Nick and I have talked about that. Nick's going to be available to help in any way that we think he should, and we feel pretty good about that plan.
All right, in any way we think he should. Nick's going to be involved in any way that we think he should.
But that's we as an I.
And he also said, don't plan on it.
Right. On game day, I don't plan on it.
Right.
And look.
So to me, it's not as much that, it's an absolute no. But to me, Lovie Smith doesn't seem as keen on it. I'm not saying it's going to be an issue, but he doesn't sound as keen on it as David Culley was.
Which is understandable, but at the same time, what coach should be above getting suggestions from somebody that's at the top who's been a part of the best organization in sports history for the last 20 years?
It's not that he's above it. It's that Lovie Smith is a man in his 60s, and this is his third head coaching job in the NFL, and he doesn't need somebody to tell him what to do.
Well, that justifies him being able to be stubborn. I mean, it didn't work out his last job, clearly, and I don't think it necessarily worked out for him that well in Chicago after they made it to the Super Bowl, when all of a sudden there were offensive decisions that he had to be making. Now, again, they never had a quarterback, so I can understand why it never got to that point. But Vanessa, I feel like someone like Lovie Smith should be open to all help. And I don't understand why it's such a possible bad thing for a head coach to have somebody else in his ear that's helping him out. These guys suck at game management decisions. How many of these people have no idea?
Lovie Smith?
Every single coach in the NFL is way worse.
So you think that
at
the
making game
GM of the
management decisions.
Steelers is in Mike Tomlin's ear?
No.
You think that Chris Ballard is in Frank Reich's ear?
No, I don't, but I'm saying maybe they should be.
So why does Lovie Smith need Nick Caserio in his ear telling him what to do?
Well, why? My argument to that is, why doesn't he?
He's perfectly competent. He's 63. Do you need me to read you his resume?
You can read the resume, but the resume doesn't mean that this guy is
so
good.
much experience.
These guys have great. He has a lot of experience. Does he have experience where he is at his utmost best? Because these guys are all bad at timeouts. They're all bad at challenges. They could actually use somebody else that is helping them make the toughest decisions possible. I'm not saying every single second of every single game that they should have somebody talking to them, but Lovie Smith is not above having Nick Caserio talk to him. I'm sorry. You haven't won a Super Bowl. You have not been to a Super Bowl since then.
Super Bowl.
Right. It's been a long time since then. Nick Caserio has been a part of an organization that went to 9.
But he's not Bill Belichick, and that was a big part of that was Tom Brady.
But he was also there as long as Belichick.
So here's my question. So if you think that Lovie Smith is not above having Nick Caserio in his ear, you think that every coach in the NFL should have their GM in their ear?
I don't see what is the big problem with having an extra voice to help you out.
I don't think having an extra voice is a big deal, but when you're as experienced as Lovie is it a little bit degrading to have somebody say, hey, we know this team is going to be bad anyway. You guys are probably not going to win more than 5, at the most 6 games. You need help with that. I don't think Lovie Smith needs help winning 5 to 6 games with the Texans next season.
It's only degrading if you're too proud to accept help. And how many of us are like that? I don't think it's degrading at all. What is wrong with a little extra help? I am not for help that is obnoxious and over the top, but
right.
The NFL is such a slow, backwards, stubborn league as far as adopting things. How long did it take them to incorporate the option into football? In modern football,
right.
The read option and all these things, and you're seeing these things, and these coaches at the NFL level are it'll never work here. It'll never work here. They're so resistant to so many things. What's wrong with something that clearly works in basketball, where general managers have more power than coaches, or something that works in baseball, where general managers have more power than managers? Why is it the worst idea in the world to have a general manager who has a background in doing the things that coaches do? What's wrong with that guy being an extra voice for Lovie Smith?
I don't think Lovie needs it. I don't think he needs it. Now, if it's a collaboration, if it's Nick Caserio saying, I'm going to offer you this help, but you have the final say, that's great. Because there may be times when Lovie Smith says, Nick, can you give me your perspective on that? I'm not saying that it's bad if it's collaboration, but I don't think that he needs it. I don't think it's necessary. And it's his third head coaching job. I know in Tampa Bay it didn't go well. We want to know also what our listeners think. So at us on Twitter, at Sports Finesse, at Gallant says.
And 713.
Yeah, you can call in too.
780 ESPN 713-780-3776.
Need a babysitter?
But see,
no.
The way that you're describing it is the way that the majority of coaches across the league look at it, and that's, I think, part of the problem. That they look at it as if it is this bad thing. You're right from one perspective that you said here. As far as the final decisions, someone has to make the final decisions, because the big problem that happens so often on sidelines is that coaches take too long to make decisions. And if you have multiple voices that are making crucial decisions, okay, that's a problem. But what's wrong with this input?
I don't think it's wrong if it's collaborative, but who do you think should get in this particular situation? Because every situation is going to be different. Having a really young head coach with a very experienced GM may be a different dynamic. But, Paul, for this dynamic right here, Nick Caserio and Lovie Smith, 63 years old, on his third head coaching job, who do you think should get the final say?
If I'm picking between those two?
Yeah.
No offense, I'm picking the guy who's with the good organization as opposed to Lovie Smith.
I'm picking Lovie Smith 10 out of 10 times.
10 out of 10.
Because he has the experience, and this is his.
But Caserio has 20 years of experience with the Patriots.
I like Nick Caserio. Just FYI, I think Nick Caserio is awesome, and I think he had a great draft class. I think he'd be great to collaborate with Lovie Smith on the headset, but the key word is collaborate, not dictate, and not make the final say. Lovie Smith does not need a babysitter. He's a grown man.
Stop, collaborate, and listen. Why can't Lovie Smith listen? That's all I'm asking for in this situation, and I feel like the idea that it's babysitting, it's not necessarily that. Like, I feel like we all should be open to help, even if it's coming in an unconventional way. And I can understand why Lovie Smith's uncomfortable with it. Don't get me wrong. Like, I would be perhaps annoyed at first if somebody was in my ear telling me, "Oh no, this is the take that you need to have right now, Paul. Actually, no, you need to talk about how like Deshaun Watson actually should be the Texans' starting quarterback." Like, if I had someone in my ear doing that and trying to overrule me, I would get it. That would drive me crazy. But I think that we should evolve, especially the NFL, and a head coach with a guy that has 20 years of experience where he's not just doing scouting, he's doing coaching things. He is with Bill Belichick for a while.
Lovie Smith has so much experience.
I know, but I'm just not impressed by Lovie Smith.
Chicken.
I know, but look, Lovie Smith, not a spring chicken, seems like a very nice guy. I'm not impressed by his resume.
If they had hired Josh McCown,
if I would want Nick Caserio to have all the say, probably.
I totally agree.